Welcome back to the Danny Harton Show. Today on this week's episode, I have Aidan Hearn, a local singer-songwriter here in Nashville. How are you doing, Aidan?
I'm doing good, Danny. Thanks for having me, man.
For sure. I'm glad we can, finally get it done.
Yeah, he asked me how long ago was it? Like a month or two?
Since the show at the end
Yeah,
with
when was
Beamers
that?
and
Yeah, it was with Beamers
Trip
and
Sydney.
Trip Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, to make a long story bearable, it was a grip ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me.
For sure, man. For sure. So, let's talk about like where you're from originally.
So I'm originally from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. It's I want to say 10 minutes outside of Philadelphia. Um, but yeah, it's like a little suburbia kind of place. There's all kinds of little towns in the whole county. So it's I want to say I lived in Upper Southampton, but there's Newtown and Levittown, all that kind of stuff.
So did you like go to Philly a lot? Just like for fun? No?
Not really. I did sparingly. My dad kind of was always just no, no, no. And I played a couple gigs throughout my time there, with bands and little solo things here and there, but I kind of just stayed at home. I know it's really exciting.
Are you a big gamer?
I used to be, and at heart I still am.
Yeah.
I love Skyrim and Fallout. Fallout New Vegas is top tier video game mode right there. I could get lost for days, but I kind of cut it when music was kind of okay, you gotta grind and put
Yeah.
that effort in.
Yeah, when you gotta grind in like real world and not in the video game.
Yeah, I don't have an XP bar, leveling up to the next spot.
Yeah, I got you. Um, what other games did you like growing up? Were you ever a big Nintendo guy or not? Or not really?
No, my dad. I think we started on my dad was a big gamer too. Shout out my dad. Hi pop.
Shout out Aiden's dad.
um, he got me the first Xbox original, the big black clunky one with the wired controllers and stuff. And we had that, and probably the Halo series was my favorite. We would just the two of us would grind out for all the time. It was always fun.
Hmm. I got you. So back in Philadelphia, actually, what's like your relationship like with music? I guess like growing up, like how did it start and stuff like that?
I think the first concrete memory I think I have of music where it kind of felt like I was this is something more than just listening to something was my dad had given me, it was a silver Dell MP4 player, and it had all kinds of music. Um, and I was really into an early age. My dad had showed me American Idiot came out, and I think it was 2003 or something like that. And my dad was the cool young dad who was let's put it on. So it was listening to that on the iPod. Um, and then Guns N' Roses was a big one too. And kind of just sitting there on this it was a futon, and I had the old wired headphones, and I just remembered that I was nah, this is it. This is, I think, something that I want to do, because nothing ever really kind of seemed oh, this is interesting, this is cool. I always wanted to, not that I always wanted to, but I knew video games wasn't the career for me. I'll say that. As much as I wanted it to.
Yeah. Okay. When you're like super rich and famous, are you gonna like own an esports team?
um, Maybe. I guess. I mean, if it's a good investment, then I'm down for that. But I need to get to the rich and famous part first. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think it's a good investment now, from what I've read or heard, but it could be in like 10 years
So you said an
when it's bigger.
esports
Yeah,
team?
esports.
What's that?
It's just people who play video games competitively.
Oh,
Yeah, they have like all
like
teams.
phase, like the
Yeah,
phase clan people.
yeah,
Right.
that's probably like the biggest one, but there's, all these other ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've kind of been so disconnected from that world, but like the last time that I was in it was like everyone used to like on like Call of Duty they'd make like the phase logo on their little emblem thing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
annoying.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's annoying. Not any, well, I don't know anything about FaZe Clan. They could be doing some shady shit because, they're on the internet.
That's real.
But what was my point? Yeah, I just think it's annoying how like people like are like like make their username FaZe whatever, and it's like you're not affiliated with them at all. Like shut the fuck up.
That's
You know what I'm
real.
saying?
I like never knew. I didn't even know what it like really was. I was just kind of like, oh, I guess everyone's just like doing that now. I kind of never. I was never really one to be like blindly doing something. My dad was always like, "Be a leader. You're a leader. You're not a sheep. You're not a follower." And I was like, "Word up, I guess." You know.
Thanks, Dad. Were you were you in Boy Scouts or anything like that?
I was. I was a
Okay.
Cub Scout.
Yeah.
Shout out Troop 280. Um, I remember doing the Pinewood Derby a couple times, and I remember we went to the mall. I think it was the King of Prussia Mall. Um, and they set up this big ramp, and I remember, um, I like my dad got these like Halo stickers, and we painted it like drab green,
Yeah.
and it was so cool. It was like one of the like coolest parts. But I ended up leaving because like I wanted to get all the cool buttons and like pins and shit, but like I just like wasn't dedicated enough, and I was just a kid. I was just like, give it me now. Like I didn't know what like you actually had to do things, so it
Mhm.
was funny.
Nice. So you didn't go into Boy Scouts, just Cub Scouts? I got you.
Nah, I did it up until like third or fourth grade, and then I was like, I think yeah, because I discovered music and like guitar in fourth grade, and that's when I kind of was just like, I don't need this anymore, you know.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, okay, who were you like listening to or like your biggest sort of like inspirations, I guess?
um, I would say Green Day was like the first one where like I knew the whole album front to back. Um, so Green Day, Guns N' Roses. Um, my top people though are the Beatles for sure. My grandmother and I kind of like bonded over that, and I always thought it was so cool to like talk to her about like the Beatlemania days and like watching all the documentaries and interviews and stuff like that. It was really neat, but I think those are like the top three pillars of like my childhood. And then like my dad would always show me like really cool music. He wasn't that like dad that or like parent that was like censoring it and like showing you like PBS kids music stuff like that. He put it on in the car, and um it definitely like inspired me a good amount, and I have him to thank for, showing me those records and stuff like that.
Hmm. So, when did you like start playing guitar and stuff like that?
I was 9 years old. My dad had, my dad was my soccer coach. We did like CYO soccer, which is like kind of like club ball, for the school that I was in at the time. And I remember I, I like pulled my hamstring or something like that, or I just was like, I was that like not like fat kid, but like I was that kid that did it to make friends because like everyone else was doing it. That's like I feel like the only time where I was like, yeah, I'll do it just because I needed a social like interaction. And my dad like wanted me to play sports and stuff like that, and it just wasn't me. And I remember him sitting me on the bench one night like during a game and was like, listen, You know I don't lie to you. I always tell it to you straight. We need to find something else. This isn't it. You're gonna get like 5 minutes of game time. You know, you're in there, you're running across the field a couple times, and then I'll bench you for the rest of the game, and you just cheer everybody on. And I was like, deal. And he's like, all right, sweet, we'll get you music lessons. And because I think he knew at that point that I was really into it, because we'd both play Guitar Hero 3. That was, I think, a concrete pillar of inspiration there, because we would just, for hours, would play. And he came home, I think, that following Monday and was like, here it is. And that's where it all kind of started.
What was like your first guitar?
It was the first like iteration of the Ibanez Tallman. It was cream, like the body was cream, and then it had rosewood neck, dot inlays, and whatever. It was kind of like an offset, like Fender-ish copy of like a bunch of different of Fender's guitars, but it had really cool like silver lipstick pickups in it. And I at the time I hated it because I was like, oh, I want rock, and it wasn't like I didn't know what it was and how to get like tone per se. But it was the first guitar that I like had and really like put in the miles too, and then eventually got another one.
Yeah. I saw so at the show I like discovered you were playing like this really cool like Les Paul. Is it a custom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 1981 Gibson Les Paul custom in wine red. Um, I had done I had started in like I can't talk. In like 8th grade, I got involved with School of Rock, and they had like a house band, which is kind of like their um, like travel team per se, like advertising, like, hey, your kid can do this. Look what they can do. And my dad was like, I was bugging my dad forever because I had like a Les Paul copy, but I wanted the real deal. I wanted to be like the big dogs. And he was like, if you get in to the house band, I'll get you whatever Les Paul off the wall you want. And I was like, all right. So dogged persistence, a couple months later, and I got in, and he was like, all right, I'm a man of my word. A deal's a deal. And we tried and tried and tried and tried until one day it was on like the top of the wall, and it was there, and it was kind of like, oh, like I was like, that one,
Yeah.
because it's like it's got the diamond in the headstock and stuff like that, and I've been obsessed with it, and I always played. They had like two matching sets of the like black ones, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's old, it's worn in, like the finish on the neck was coming off, and I'd sent him pictures and stuff like that, and he was like, I'll see what I can do. And then I came home this one day, and all like my immediate family was all sitting in like the like living room, and I thought I like did something wrong because they were always like an intervention or something.
Yeah.
And my brother came in and was like, here's a new pick for your new guitar. And then my dad came and brought it up the
Actual guitar.
stairs, and I was like, and it was just like amazing. I got it tattooed on my arm so
Damn.
I could look at it forever.
So that's definitely like your main guitar then. For sure.
um yeah, it is, but I kind of like scared to bring it out sometimes. Like I brought it out the one time for the
Yeah.
first one, but I was like, it's really heavy because it's like the last year that they like made it to spec of the originals from the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. And so no weight relief, just like solid chunk of wood. It's like a boat anchor around your neck. And I like to wear my guitars really high or really low. I've been kind of doing the low thing more, but um, it was just like I didn't want it to get stolen or get broken. Because I remember I played this one gig one time at it was Nick's Roast Beef with this old band that I was with, and I remember this guy like came up to me and was like, "That's a really nice guitar, son. Where'd you get it from?"
Yeah.
And they kept like kind of eyeing me up and eyeing the
Yeah.
guitar up, and I was like, I gotta leave this at home from now on. So now
Yeah.
it's a studio guitar, and
Mhm.
she stays at home, safe and sound. But every now and then, I think I'll take it out. But I just
Okay.
get nervous. But I play a Les Paul Jr. now, so
Okay.
I still get the Les Paul action. But now it's like I got this one myself. And shout out Sammy Elfie from Post Sex Nachos. He
Shout out that guy.
shout. No, he's a great friend of mine and a really cool dude. Check out Post Sex Nachos. They rip. They're super cool.
Oh,
Bunch
that's a
of
band.
yeah.
Okay, I thought that was just
Everyone always gets like they're like what? And I'm
yeah,
like,
I thought
no, Post Sex Nachos. They're the cool like one of the coolest bands that I know right now.
yeah.
And but yeah, I saw him in a Guitar Center parking lot, and he was like, I'm just trying to get rid of this thing. It's just not me. And yeah, cause he's like,
Sorry, that's just a funny like visual.
no, you're good. And I was like, oh, I mean, like, how much you selling it for? And he was like, I'll let you know, because they were just going on like a leg of a tour. And he had texted me later. My phone keeps buzzing. And he was like, you want the homie price? And I was like, yeah, hit me. And he was like, X, Y, and Z. And I was like, I would, like, I have the money, but I can't afford that. That's like my rent right there. And he was like, well, what about that purple Strat you got? Because I had like this beautiful Hendrix, like NAMM special purple Strat that I loved for such a long time, but I just stopped using it. And I wanted it to go to a good home, and I was like, "Durr, you can have it." So we ended up settling up and exchanging guitars, and now it's like my new guy, my new
Mhm.
dude. It's this brown walnut color. It's really cool.
So this is the junior.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like the new double, they call it like double cut tribute or something like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's really neat. It's like how they used to make them in the late 50s and 60s, but instead of like a bigger guard, like just going this way, it like has it all like a top mount thing, but it's really cool. It rips and it's light, so I don't have to kill my back.
Yeah. So is it just like with a single P90 in there?
hmm
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I had a junior growing up, and I had sold it to a student I was teaching at the time, because she didn't have a guitar like an electric for her own, um, and I sold it to her. But I loved how like raw it sounded, because sometimes a humbucker can be too much.
Yeah.
So I kind of was just like, yeah, let me check this out, and it was just rang, it just rang, and it was so nice, and I was like, I don't need the bells and whistles anymore. I just want something that looks cool, plays great, and does the job.
Mhm. For sure. So earlier you were saying you used to live in Hollywood. So when did you
Yeah.
like move there from Pennsylvania?
Well, I graduated high school in 2019, and I kind of was doing like an acoustic gig, and I like started an LLC and stuff like that, and um like was doing private events and playing at this local bar restaurant, the Churchville Inn. Shout out to Churchville Inn, yo. They're like the coolest people around. Shout out Nick, Kelsey, um, Cammy, everybody. They were like the first venue that like actually like loved what I did, and like we kind of had like worked out a deal of like I'll play Friday Saturday or Saturday Sunday of like every weekend, in the summertime. And so shout out to them, much love to y'all. um, and it was cool. Like I didn't go away to college the first semester that I was done. I kind of was just making great money. I was playing gigs all the time, and I was working at like convenience store chain called Wawa. And it was a great place. Like, it was super cool too. Kind of like our equivalent to like a Circle K, but like a lot nicer.
Mm,
Kind of
okay.
more. I would say more like Bucky's, but on a smaller scale.
Okay.
Um, it's like if Bucky's was Disney World, like Wawa's like Disneyland. So it's like still cool, but like
Yeah.
it was awesome. And so I worked there and was doing gigs, and I was like, man, who needs college? Like I'll do this, and I'll stay at home and bank my money up and then move somewhere. And then my parents, around like a couple months before like the first like fall semester was over, they were like, listen, you need to get a degree. You need to go somewhere. You need to get out of here. And I knew that because I like saw my friends yahooing it up in their freshman years, doing all like the genuine like 18-year-old experience of dorm living, and going to bars and shenanigans, debauchery, and all that stuff like that. And I was kind of just like at home doing my thing, and I wanted more. So, and I think they wanted to just push me out of it because it was time. And so they had taken me to LA for my like graduation present thing. And that week there was an open house at Musicians Institute, and um, I was like, hey, let's go. It's right on the boulevard. And they were like, okay. Because my parents are like, no, you're not going that far. And then, like, figured it out. We saw all this stuff. I was sold from the get go. It was so cool. It still is cool. And I spent 2 years there. And I lived on this little side street called McCadden Place, and with a couple good buddies of mine who I still keep in touch with today. Um, Shout out Bo Band, shout out Clark and all the boys and stuff. Orion for real. Um, yeah, it was a great time, and I ended up like applying. I got in, and my dad and my mom kind of like looked at each other, sighed, and then we're like, okay, like let's do this thing. And so I spent 2 years there. Um, you know, Met a bunch of people, great people along the way. Um, Joe, Lenny. Um, I could go on forever with the names, but I'm so grateful to have that kind of experience at 19, and that's kind of like what started me like kicking up songwriting and like learning it, because I was there and I was seeing everyone else do it, and I was like, let me give this a shot. And so that's how I ended up there. And then like as I moved there, COVID hit. I'm sorry, I keep jumping from
No, you're good.
place to place, but I'm like a wind up toy. You just get me going, and then I'm like firing it in different
Hey,
directions.
it makes my job easy.
Yeah, you'll get definitely get a bunch of content for real. But yeah, it was a great time, and that's kind of how I ended up in LA and stuff like that.
Word. So were you playing like locally in LA and stuff like that, or not?
No, like I kind of was just doing school, and I guess was just so enamored at like being alone, like living on my own for the first time, and like just genuinely soaking up the the energy that LA brings. Cause for me, it was like I feel like that was always like a bucket list like dream, was to live there. Cause like all my heroes were like, I feel like every musician thinks like, oh, the mecca of being a musician is going to LA and trying it and doing it, like becoming a big old rock star man and stuff like that. And I got to see it, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and like I never really got to play. out, like in like bars and stuff like that. Like I was going to, but like it just I was too busy just kind of soaking up the sun, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, because I think you mentioned LA in like both your songs. I think.
I do.
Right.
I loved it. I loved it so much. It was the coolest thing ever. Um, I like food a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, LA's a great food spot
Yeah,
from
because
what
there's
I've
like
heard.
it's like such a cultural melting pot of just like a lot of like just great foods that I had never tried before, and so I'd always go to a new place or whatever. That was like my like thing that I would like do either with friends or like by myself. I call it being an NPC. I just like put my headphones on, like I'll like put the over ear ones on, and I'll put like sunglasses on, or I'll like wear a fit or something like that, and just like eat food or like read the newspaper or something, and just kind of be a consumer. Um, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that,
I don't know either, but I do know in Hurricane you're like, uh, what do you say? Something about New York or LA. So you mentioned both of the meccas. Do you have a relationship with New York at all?
but I used to a long time ago. I used to go to New York around Christmas time. It was like a thing,
Like a.
and because it's like being like Philly and New York were so
Mhm.
close that like for me it was like a 45-minute drive to like the Hamilton train station, and then from Hamilton you went to I believe it's called Penn Station. Um, and then like the big tree in Rockefeller Center. You go to it's not there anymore, but there used to be a big toy store called FAO Schwartz, and they had this big piano that you could step on. It's in a movie of I don't remember what movie it was, but a big toy store, and there was like the Apple store, and you can go see the Plaza Hotel, and yeah,
Plaza.
I loved New York, and like of course people talk about it all the time, and you see it on the news, and um I was like I love Frank Sinatra, and he always talks about New York and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and so I'd always go there, and so that's kind of like my connection to New York. I feel like I would like love to live there at some point, but like right now I think Nashville is kind of where I'm at for a minute, but I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, so which one do you like, LA or New York? Like, which one do you
LA.
prefer? LA
LA
for
for
sure.
real.
All
I
right.
love the beach.
Mhm.
Like you drive in like maybe like 30 minutes in each direction, and it like changes the landscape. Like I remember
Yeah.
one time um we went from the city to what was it? It was like some state park, and um Malibu Creek State Park. And so you get out of the city and you're on the 5, and you're just going and you're going, and then all of a sudden it turns into the desert, and it's just sand, and it's like it's super cool, and then you get to the park, and it's just like whoa, like there's like all kinds of deserty things, there's like
Mhm.
lizards and birds and shit, and it's a real cool, like it definitely wasn't what Philadelphia was by any means, so it was like really cool to see the different landscape, and like as you walk further into it, it had these like windy old roads that like were all cracked and stuff like that, like they had been there for like decades,
Mhm.
and I I loved it, and it was so cool because then you could go anywhere. There was the beach, there was the desert, the
Yeah.
city.
You got like all these different environments
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
and then
Yeah.
like my gunkles, shout out Eric and Jace, I love y'all. Kisses. Um, they say that all the time whenever you say bye. They'll go kisses. Um, but they took care of me in LA, and they live in like Encino area, and it's like this beautiful like I feel like it was like a TV, like you look on TV, and it's like the Modern Family, like
Okay.
neighborhood.
Hmm.
It's just beautiful houses and stuff like that. And it's real quiet, and so I loved all like the different changes of scenery because I'd always go to their house and we'd swim, and I met all their friends and they all became aunts and uncles and stuff like that, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
I dug it.
So what made you like want to move to Nashville?
Um, well, I think during like the whole COVID thing, there was like a bit of a hiccup and like a little pregunta of I had to leave LA because I couldn't afford to like live there anymore. So I ended up pulling out of MI, and my parents were like, "Dude, just come home. Just come home. We'll do damage control." And I ended up like applying to a bunch of different music schools around the states, and it was between I'd got into all of the ones I applied to, but Berkeley and Belmont were like my two like neck and neck people. And because I had heard so much about Belmont from this like senior in my like freshman class, like it was my first class of high school, was called music tech, and this kid Luke was like, "Oh, I'm going to Belmont. It's so cool. It's so cool." And I always knew like Nashville was the music city, and I was like, well, I mean, I have to be in a hub, and I got to be in a place where like I feel like I can at least have a fair chance of making it. And so it was between Berkeley and Belmont, and I chose Belmont because um, I liked it a lot better. Um, I kind of liked the general atmosphere, and like um, I went to Catholic school, so for me it was kind of like, oh, okay, like it's I know that Christian and Catholic is like different and stuff like that, but like it's still like it's about the values, you know what I mean? It's not, anything specific. It's just the values of, how you're raised in that way, and like I felt like that was a cooler place. And Nashville I feel like is like a little bit cooler than Boston, so, you know. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's how I ended up here.
So you're still at Beaumont right now?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm like a second semester junior, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a songwriting major with an emphasis on music business.
Okay, word. Are you working on like are you gonna be putting stuff out soon?
Definitely, definitely. I've got a bunch of originals that like I've finally like finished. Um, so I have like two ones that I'm like thinking I'm gonna put like as a double single, like how
Mm.
like 45s used to be, where it's like
Yeah.
an A side and a B side.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I like that format. Because like sometimes like you release, at least in my opinion, I feel like when you release a song, it's like, bam, one song, and then you listen to it and you're like, word. But I'm not gonna
That's
like,
it.
but like I feel like if there's two, it's
Hmm.
like, ooh, now I can like compare, and like I can listen to them back and forth. Whereas like it's just one song, it's just like, oh, let me put it on repeat and just
Hmm.
over and over and over and over again. So it's more variety, and I'm just like, I guess just excited. So I just put out more one time, but
Gotcha.
mhm.
Are you working on like a album or EP or anything like that?
I'm kind of doing the. I think I'm gonna do like single EP, just because I feel like that format, like watching other people do their releases, I've kind of been like taking notes on like what things do, and like what things work and what things don't work, and I like also just kind of want to do it my own way in a sense. But I have my manager Nikki, shout out Nikki, the brains behind the operation. She's the best. She's kind of given me the counsel of like, you know, this is what works and what doesn't work, and she's got a lot of experience with kind of like she was like she's the manager of the band that I was like last in and stuff like that, and she still does the management for them too.
Yeah.
But she knows her way around the uh, industry thought, so
Hmm.
she tells me what to do, and I'm like, yeah, it works for me.
Yeah. Are there are there like any particular like album rollouts or like, you know, just like promotion things that you've kind of like studied or that you've picked up on?
The big thing that I've kind of picked up through my own viewing, but also um, kind of just like through all the music business classes I've taken, they're like TikTok, TikTok this, TikTok that. And like, regardless, like, I'm gonna follow that guideline because, like, what's it gonna do? Is it gonna hurt me? No. It's just another free promotion that, like, will help me. But I'm just, like, kind of, like, lazy with the whole, like, posting about things and being a presence on, social media and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be better with that per se and just kind of building up the image of who I am for someone who like doesn't know me and like just kind of sees me like walking through or on their what's it like the For You page or something.
Yeah. But are there like any album rollouts like specific like this artist, this album that sort of like stick out in your mind?
Mm, I don't think so. I kind of love the I love the real like tight knit communities that kind of just like word of mouth, like kind of how it used to be, but also like I love when like bands will do like a lot of like promo that isn't kind of like something that's been done before. I know that's really vague, but
I know what you mean though.
yeah, it's like some innovative
Yeah.
like giving out like free things like stickers or posters or whatever or like
Yeah.
teasing like little clips or like
Yeah.
me posting a video of me doing it and being real cryptic.
Yeah. The cryptic mysterious shit is the best cuz it
Exactly.
leaves people like wanting more.
Yeah, and like I kind of like when I started this solo project, like I was planning it for a long time and then kind of just like finally made the jump for it. So like I had all this stuff laid out already cuz I usually fly by the seat of my pants. That's kind of like how I've been my whole life. But um I kind of just have been more proactive in planning more and kind of just trying to be better and not lazy.
Yeah, I get you. What's like your long-term goals in life?
To take over the world, baby.
Yeah.
No. To honestly just like if I can make music my life and like I don't need to work a job.
Yeah.
Like yeah, music is technically a job, but like
But it's
if
fun.
yeah, it's fun. Like I can get up in the morning and I can like make my toast and
Yeah.
cup of joe and like sit down at the piano or the guitar and like write like I have to like my assignment today I have to write a song and it's like cool like that's it like or like if I'm like backing someone um like as long as I get to travel and see the world and stuff like that and honestly just make I guess an impact on um like music or like history of some sort. And I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet, but you know, at the end of the day, if I like if I reach someone and it inspires them to pick up a guitar or to pick up, singing or music as a whole, I don't need the money. I don't need the fame or whatever. Like it would be super cool, don't get me wrong. I think anyone would love that, but
Yeah.
I like I'd rather be more inspirational to someone else than, clock in the dole and just, wear big sunglasses inside and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I got you. All right. Well, that's pretty much all my questions, but like we can go for like another 10, 20 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies?
My hobbies, I like to cook. Um
Hell yeah.
my grandma and my dad kind of were like the people who like inspired me to cook cuz my grandma she comes from like an Italian like German background, so she like always made some like really hitting food, and my dad always kind of just like picked it up from her, and then like he would teach me and stuff like that. So I would like learn, and then I'd watch like cooking shows just for like the entertainment value of learning a new like culture.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd say food, like cooking.
Did you watch any Gordon Ramsay stuff?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I was more of the like my favorite ones were like Man vs. Food on like the Travel
Oh, I remember
Channel,
that
where
one.
he
Yeah.
would just like Adam Richmond would just eat like
Some stupid shit.
crazy food.
Yeah.
And then there's that guy Andrew Zimmern. He did Bizarre Foods America, where he'd eat like bugs and stuff like that, and like
Okay.
he'd be like, this is their culture, and he'd go to some crazy part of the world that I didn't know existed, and they'd like, I remember there was an episode where they like would cure like how they cure meat. They were curing like shark meat, and they made it into like jerky and stuff, and he ate it, and I was like, huh,
Shark meat.
I didn't know that you could do that. Like there's like head cheese. You ever get on the head cheese grind? Crazy. It's it's like apparently really really good, but it's in like only like certain areas of the world that they do that.
Okay.
But cooking, I've been kind of getting into fashion more, cuz like I've always like wanted to look cool, and I never felt like I looked cool. I would just wear like band t-shirts and the same pair of jeans
Yeah.
like always, but I've kind of been getting more into like color coordination and, streetwear and, thrifting and stuff, cuz like I got these jorts from the Goodwill bins around like 5 minutes from my house, cuz my roommate Sam is like a big thrifter guy, and he always finds these like really cool like grail pieces, and I'm like, bro, what? So every time I go with him, he always like, he's like a magnet. He'll just pick them out. Like I remember one time I got like a pair of like late 80s like they're like purple faded Levi's, and then like he found me like 2 other pairs of jeans the other day, and so I've been kind of getting in more fashion, and that's pretty much it,
You don't like sports? Not a big.
I'll watch hockey
Yeah.
because hockey's cool, but like y'all don't have hockey here.
Yeah,
Like,
we
you
do.
got the Predators, right?
Yeah.
I guess I guess we do, but I like duh.
That's funny.
Um, but like I remember like bringing it up, and people would be like, "Hockey? What?" Like my girlfriend, when I told her, like, because she's like really into basketball and stuff like that, because she played and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I like hockey. Like I go see the Flyers play,
Yeah.
like once or twice, and yeah, that's my extent." Like I'll go like I used to go to like a Eagles game or a Phillies game or whatever, but like just wasn't my thing.
Yeah, I got you. I went to a Preds game this season, or this last season, I guess, because the season's over. But it was like, the Preds were like super mid this season, and we were going up against another mid team, the Arizona Coyotes, and so that game was like, there's nothing better than 2 mid teams like playing each other, because then it's like so competitive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, we could actually win this game. And so, like, the game was tied 3-3, went into, like, overtime, penalty shots, and we won 8-7. So we went from 3-8 in, like, overtime. That's, like, absurd.
I was gonna say, for a hockey game, that's a higher number.
Yeah. But that's just insane that, like, both teams scored a majority of their points in overtime. That's fucking stupid. It was crazy because it was just, like, going back and forth. Like, we score one, then they score one. Then we miss, then they miss. Then we score another one. Like, it was absurd. just kept going back and forth.
Oh yeah, but it keeps you it keeps you on your feet though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like that's why I just never got into sports, cuz like baseball, I feel like it's really long for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm not dissing on any sports, like, different strokes for different folks and all, but like it just wasn't like it wasn't my speed, I wanted to
Yeah.
do something else, and I also was never good at it. So I kind of always like pushed it away cuz I wasn't good at it, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like with sports like baseball that are like slower, like I learned to appreciate that as I get older because I thought it was super boring. But now it's like baseball's fine if you're there with friends, or it's like, it's not like the main activity. It's just like an excuse to like
Right.
drink or something, with your friends.
Yes, it
That's like
is.
like baseball and like football, like the slower sports. That's like what they're for.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I'll watch, like I remember the Eagles were just in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then when we won in 2018 or 2017?
Something like that.
I was a
I
junior in
remember
high
that, yeah.
school, and I remember like,
You beat the Patriots. You like ended their like reign for a while,
damn right we did.
which was pretty cool.
Shout out the Birds, go Birds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know shit about shit when it comes to that. But I'll watch it if it's like I'll watch the Super Bowl because I like to watch the commercials.
Well, that's because it's an American holiday.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
basically. But
That's
like
what
if
it is.
if
It's
like
an
the
event.
Phillies or like the Flyers or the 76ers or like
Fuck the Sixers.
the Eagles. I mean, I don't know shit about shit when it comes to the 76ers, so I mean, I think different strokes, right?
Yeah. No, the Sixers suck. See, basketball's that's the only sport I actually care about.
Real.
Is like basketball, like the NBA. Yeah. I don't want to like bore you or anything, but like
No.
the Sixers, they're kind of like, or they were a good team, but they just can't get over like the hump. Like, like the NBA playoffs, it's like 3 rounds in your conference, then you go to the championship. The Sixers with Joel Embiid, who's like, their guy, like the face of their franchise, have never been out of the second round. Each year they do good in the first round, and then they usually do good in the second round, but they choke. Like this year, they were up against the Celtics. They like led the series like 3-2, and then Game 6, the game that they could have won to end the series, was like in Philadelphia, but then they choked. The Celtics win. They go back to Boston, and the Celtics like finish the job. Stuff like that. But that just like happens every single year with the Sixers. Is like they always like choke and stuff.
I feel like there's a lot of don't come for me, Philadelphia. But I feel like a lot of the times our teams will choke. I remember the Phillies were doing good this year. Like I guess it would have been last year, but like fall of last year, I guess fall of this year. No, it was last year. I don't know.
Time is weird, bro.
Tell me about it, dude. I don't even know what day it is half the time. I look on my phone and I'm like, oh, I got to go to work today. Wild. No, I feel like a lot of times we choke and it's just like, damn. Like we were so close, but we never end up getting there. But when we get there, it's a big deal. Like just when we won the Super Bowl, I remember we actually like got off from school. It was on like a Thursday.
Yeah.
I remember all of like the kids I knew in school, they were like, oh, you're going to go down to the city and, like go on the train and stuff? And I'm like, no, bitch, I'm sleeping. Like, I'm taking that day off and I'm doing whatever I want to do. And they tore up the city. Like it was kind of funny. I was watching it on the news and climbing up light poles and flipping cars. I remember Broad Street was just like totally just like a mob scene and stuff like that. It was cool. It was definitely a time to be alive.
Yeah, this is why I ask, because like Philly sports culture is like something different.
It really is. And I don't know too much about it, but like I know enough where it's like, most of the time it's probably like 2 out of 5 times will actually make it to like the next tier up.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. But y'all have like hella teams. You have like a team in every major sport, which is cool. Not a lot of cities have that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What about like LA? Were you like was Laker culture not really there?
Nah, I like.
Well, not you, but just like around you. Like, what
Oh
was it
yeah,
like?
absolutely, absolutely. I like. Um, I know like there's a lot of people. Like I know the Chili Peppers. I don't know them, but like I know that Flea and
Yeah,
Anthony Kiedis, like they always are like sitting courtside, and like
yeah,
Flea's got a jazz bass that has like the monogram of the Lakers on it. It's all purple and
really.
like
Oh, that's
really
actually
no, it's
cool.
super dope, super dope. But of course, it's there's very much a Lakers pride thing that they
Hmm.
have there.
Yeah, this like past playoffs in the first round, they went up against the Memphis Grizzlies, which is like the team I root for, and like the game they won, they had like Jack fucking Nicholson was like courtside at
Wild,
the Laker game.
a legend.
Yeah, and then they beat the Grizzlies, and then they went to the second round. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
They beat
I
my
feel like there's
team.
always some cool faces
Yeah,
at
in
like
LA.
Laker games.
Yeah, I was watching this one basketball video, and I don't remember what the subject was at all, but they said that like the Lakers are like the trust fund babies, or like the Laker fans are the trust fund babies of the NBA.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine. Because I mean, LA is just the. I feel like the place that people fantasize about the most. But I think when you get there, it's like, yeah, like there's all the lots of, like movie lots and recording studios. I lived like probably about a block or two from Sunset Sound where like the Beach Boys recorded a part of Pet Sounds. Like I think it was the
Oh,
vocals
really?
of Pet Sounds and stuff like that. But like you go in there and like you see all these pictures of people in the control rooms and like I'm a huge Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young fan, and like their pictures were on the wall. And like sometimes you'll see like people from the industry, like music industry or a movie star or like
Hmm.
an influencer. Like I remember saw Steve Aoki one time. I saw ASAP Rocky at a Chick-fil-A one
What the
time.
fuck?
Yeah, no, he was there, and I was
At a
like,
Chick-fil-A?
it was right like down the street from me. Like you walk out the door,
That's crazy.
and it's right there.
That's
And he
fucking
was
crazy.
just at the Chick-fil-A, and then just like left real quickly
Or
before like
ASAP
people
Rocky,
like
like,
noticed.
yeah,
Um, and
it's
then like the
crazy.
D's nuts guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he in LA?
Yeah, well
That's fucking
he's like
crazy.
he goes up and down the strip just like the photo people do. Like have you ever been in New York or LA?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like in like a
Never
major
been.
city where like you'll see people in like costumes. Like
Yeah.
there used to be like Elmo and Spider-Man and like there was this couple actually who would dress up like the Joker and Harley Quinn and they would go
Wow.
up and down the strip just like taking pictures with people and then they're like, "All right, $10. You got a picture with me,
Oh,
$10."
that's fucking
And that's how they get
scamming.
you.
Those
And I remember
bastards.
one time I saw him and I was like, "Yo, what's up, man? You're the D's Nuts guy." And he kind of like looked at me and like you could tell that he was like, "I don't want to say this anymore." Like it just
Yeah.
like got really annoying for
Yeah.
him.
It's not
And
like,
I
yeah.
then I saw someone like a tourist like family and they like took a selfie with him and he was just like unaware and he was like, "Yo, could I get like $10 for that? I kind of need the money right now." And I'm like, "Damn. That's
Yeah.
real."
Yeah.
So he's just out there. But I feel like you'll see a lot of cool people just like
Hmm.
kind of through the town. I haven't really seen people in New York though, only in LA that I've
Yeah,
seen.
I
Like
don't. It seems like people in New York, like celebrities in New York, know how to like blend in better, I
I feel like
guess.
there's a little bit more people in
Yeah,
New
there's a
York.
lot more people. There's like 8 million people in New York.
Jeez.
It's like literally the biggest city in the world. So like, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
My mom says I'm geographically challenged, so I don't. So I don't know
Yeah,
where things are. I don't know how big things are sometimes or whatever. So
I like geography a lot. I don't really understand why, but I just like it. I
that's
just always
cool.
like grad.
No, that's cool. I'm
It
a
was like,
big like history guy, so I get
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, last question. I just thought of it. But so like other than music, is there like other mediums that you want to get into? Maybe not as heavily, but like you definitely like to try it at some point, or like if the opportunity came up, you would take it.
Hmm. I feel like if I got to a point where like I needed to like just take a like cuz I feel like I'll never take a break from music cuz it's like
Mhm.
kind of like I do it every day. If I can do it for 24 hours straight I would, but I think I really would love to do like fashion stuff. It's kind of been like a recent development hobby that kind of turned into something really cool cuz like for like the longest time I feel like I didn't like have the liberty to kind of like pick out like exactly what I like wanted and like with like my clothes or like my hair or whatever. My parents were really like, like they let me grow my hair out like really really long and like they never were like you can't wear that. But
Yeah.
they would always like they make fun of me for wearing jorts cuz like it's not a thing
Mhm.
in like in the Northeast and
Yeah.
so they'll always make fun of me and then I remember like I had a mustache for a long time, and I'll probably still go back to it. I'm just kind of doing the beard right now because A, I'm lazy, and B, I've got like a little like doodad right here that like if I go like this, it looks like I got a double chin, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
Very not cash money, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'd say fashion as my
Okay.
answer.
Word. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all my like questions. Is there like anything you want to talk about or like promote for the video?
No, yeah, no, I mean, I've got some singles coming on along the way. Um,
Stream Hurricane right now,
yes,
and it's a
um,
good ass song.
thanks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I got a lot coming this year. Um, we'll really be kickstarted in the fall. I'm kind of just taking some time. I like to take my time with writing and recording because I'm a perfectionist and I'd rather have it like exactly how I want it. And but long story short, I got a bunch of stuff coming out. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I gotta be on the TikTok at Aidan Aidan J Hearn Hearn Aidan J Hearn. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and that's pretty much it. Coming to a city near you. But I want to say thanks, man. Thanks for. It's okay. You're good. Thanks for having me,
Yes,
man. This
sir.
is
For
cool.
sure.
I've never done a
Interview
sit
before.
down interview
Yeah.
microphone dealio, so it was
Mhm.
like made me feel special. So I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Of
We'll
course,
love to do it
anytime.
again in the future.
You know where to find me.
Yes, sir. All right, so that's Aidan Hearn. I'll leave all his like links down in the description, so make sure to follow him, listen to his music, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
When the clouds go dark.